You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I want to get the thoughts of our panel again on how the prosecutions laid this whole thing out. DeLacy, I want to start with you. I can't recall the last time I saw a trial when an officer was on trial, and you had the number of police officers testifying against that cop for the prosecution.
I would agree with you. I think it's rare. My colleague, Sergeant Dorsey, and I, we've been bantering back and forth earlier in the week in this trial about whether or not the police chief's testimony set the tone for the department or gave coverage to others to come forward. But this is one of the rare times in my 20-plus years of seeing this many officers come out against a police officer in this kind of case. So I think that's been great. I'm concerned, to be honest with you, that reasonable doubt has been established. And again, they may hang the jury. I'm just not sure. And I think they began to lay out this argument that somehow George Floyd killed himself. But I agree that this is one of the more aggressive prosecutions that I've seen from a prosecutor in terms of bringing officers forward to make the case.
Cheryl?
I believe that the police chief is still in damage control. They have given the family $27 million to try to assuage them, placate them. Like I said, he knew exactly who Derek Chauvin was. We had heard from the on-scene supervisor who had worked with, supervised Derek Chauvin since 2008. And yet they allowed him to stay on the department with 18 personnel complaints. And so for that, I'm not impressed. But we heard them try to humanize Mr. Floyd and talk about who he was to his friends and to his family. And now next week, it's probably going to be very triggering for a lot of people because the defense is going to do their level best to now put George Floyd on trial. And so we need to remember that George Floyd is not on trial. Derek Chauvin is. And we need to respect his humanity. And had Mr. Chauvin shown some respect for George Floyd, he would be here today.
Reddit?
Absolutely. I agree with everything that I've just heard. I would give the chief maybe a half point more than my colleague Sergeant Dorsey would, because he took the stand and effectively said that, Derek Chauvin murdered this guy. He violated our policies. He violated our morals and ethics, him being aware of those things prior to his statement notwithstanding. But the brother, the attorney, I can't remember his name right now, who has been handling most of the expert witnesses, has been on par excellence, man. I think you can't lay a better foundation for a reasonable jury than he has to establish the fact that Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd. And we all saw it on camera. You can believe your eyes. And I'm hopeful, although I have some of the same reservations that Dr. Davis has relative to a conviction. But I'm hopeful that a reasonable jury receiving that evidence is going to send Derek to prison for the rest of his life.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.